Hey guys, it's Force Closed here, and I'm going to get right into this video. This is for the Hero Expedition update coming out. Everybody's got hype about it, trying to figure out how to raid with no magic, so I'm going to try to give you some strategies on what to do. Here's a typical corner base, 4 corners for HBM I and J, and the best strategy to use on this is to drop your AoE global proc heroes on all 4 corners, so Spirit Mage at 1 corner, Reaper at 1 corner, Cupid at 1 corner, Thunder God at 1 corner, or Minotaur, or I dropped Pumpkin Duke down there just to get a little bit of extra damage buff going on. And I knew I was going to be able to get there in time to wipe everybody out, so I didn't really care. I should have waited a little bit longer with the proper strategy, but I just felt like risking it a little bit. So that's really no problem. Next up, this looks like a HBM H or J or G strategy base design. So what you'll see is buildings split 50-50 on the top and bottom of the walls. Sometimes you'll see the ring going all the way around, and those are tougher. But for this strategy, you just pick one corner, and your heroes work their way all the way across. Now, what I did is I made a huge mistake, and I put Pumpkin Duke down to underneath all of my other heroes that are flying. So Pumpkin Duke goes out in front, and that meant Pumpkin Duke was taking aggro of 2 army camps plus 3 towers that are garrisoned with 3 or higher purple garrison. So he's taking on a lot of damage. What's smart to do in these strategies or in these bases is to stagger your heroes just slightly to take damage from 1 tower each. So let's say my dragon took the first tower, Druid took the second tower, Reaper took the troops aggro, and then Pumpkin Duke took the final tower. Something like that's a good strategy. Now for this base design, I don't see this very often, but I could tell immediately how to keep them together. And what's very important in hero trials is keeping all your heroes together. Keep them within range of Druid. So I dropped it on the corner of that troop camp because I saw buildings close to the side of the troop camp, and I knew once that troop camp was destroyed, everyone would target the buildings to the left instead of the right, where Druid is at right now. And that meant everybody stays together. So when you're raiding, you want to look for something like that. You want to look for those gaps of where to place your heroes. Now this design is similar to the last one, and I felt like raiding it for some reason, even though I shouldn't have. This is probably one I would skip just because the garrisons and the spacing, and because there's so many troops. I hate bases with a lot of troops, especially those tier 3 troops. So I made a huge mistake by dropping them all on the bottom section. I should have dropped 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top so I could wipe out all the troops, but instead I dropped everybody down there, and it took out the building's HP too quickly, so I didn't get enough procs off into the center. And you'll see my Pumpkin Duke goes in there, he doesn't even get a chance to proc before he dies. I had to use magic to save him. If I were raiding in Hero Expeditions, I would have lost him, and that would have been tragic for the rest of the day. So something like that, you really want to make sure you gap out your heroes enough. Alright, for this next design, it's pretty much similar. I'm going to skip it. And this one, I like the spacing on this. There's a couple things to look for. That troop camp right there. There's a huge gap. I love the gap in troop camps because it'll make your heroes want to target the building opposite of the troop camp. So what you want to do, instead of dropping right next to those buildings between the troop camp and the buildings or something like that, what I actually do is I drop just a little bit beyond the buildings next to the troop camp, because what they'll do is they'll destroy that building first, and then, well, actually the second building is the ideal building. If you deploy at the second building first, they'll destroy the second building, then they'll destroy the building adjacent to the troop camp, and that'll create a huge gap between the next between where they are and the troop camp. So they'll want to go to the opposite side and start attacking those buildings. And that'll keep everybody together. That's a huge strategy to use. What I also look for is low HP buildings, such as the arena and the troop hiring together, or town halls, because the town hall is so large that it creates a huge gap. But here you can see, instead of using either of those, I just decided to take out the corner buildings because I saw the gap there between the town hall and that corner building, and I knew my heroes would funnel to the side. Alright, and this looks kind of dangerous, but I actually make it, and I'm out of time. This is my 5 minutes, so I hope these tips help you guys. Have fun raiding. Enjoy.